Ladies, stop scrolling. Stop second-guessing. Stop silencing your own spirit. You didn't click this by accident. This is a divine appointment because some of you are fighting battles right now that make no sense. Doors are slamming shut. People you trusted are switching up on you, and life feels like it's going in reverse. And you've been wondering, why is this happening to me if God is for me? Let me give you an answer that will light a fire in your soul. Because you are the woman God defends. This speech is going to expose the 5 supernatural signs that you're not just a survivor. You're not just strong. You're covered. You're chosen. You're dangerous to the enemy. And by the end of this message, you're going to walk like it, talk like it, stand like it. So don't you dare leave halfway through, because I promise if you listen to this, you will never question your worth again. You don't chase, you attract. That's one of the clearest signs you're the woman God defends. And I'm not talking about some cute internet affirmation or a trendy phrase to put on a hoodie. I'm talking about a deep spiritual truth that rewires how you show up in every room, every relationship, every decision you make. When you know that the creator of the universe is backing you, you stop operating from scarcity. You stop chasing things, people, opportunities that were never sent to nourish your purpose. There is a difference between pursuit and panic. A woman who is defended by God knows that there's a time to move, but not out of fear, not out of pressure, not out of the desperate need to prove herself. No, she moves when it's time. She doesn't chase because she trusts. She trusts that what is hers can't be stolen. She trusts that what God has prepared has her name on it, and she doesn't have to compete for what was custom designed for her. See, chasing is what happens when you forget who you are. When you get caught up in needing attention, needing approval, needing to be seen to feel secure. And some of us were taught to chase love, chase validation, chase friendship, chase success. Because we thought movement was progress. But a woman under divine protection has learned to sit in peace, even when everything around her says panic. She's learned that what's meant for her won't have to be manipulated, begged for, or bought with her dignity. Let's be real. Some of you have exhausted yourselves chasing things you were never meant to carry. You were chasing a relationship that kept wounding you, chasing a job title that fed your ego but starved your soul, chasing approval from people who don't even know how to love themselves. And God let it all fall apart, not because he was punishing you, but because he was defending you. From what? From settling, from self-destruction, from cycles that would have taken you out. So now he's teaching you a new way, a slower way, a stronger way, one where your presence is a magnet, where your peace speaks louder than your performance, where your confidence doesn't come from what's happening outside of you. It's anchored in the God who lives within you. You stop saying, pick me. You start saying, God, position me. Because when you're the woman God defends, you realize that rejection isn't the end of your value. It's the beginning of your redirection. You stop crying over closed doors and start praising for the ones that didn't open. Because, if I had gotten what I thought I wanted, it would have cost me more than I knew. You stop running after people who walk away from you because you understand something powerful. They're not your assignment anymore. You attract peace because you have peace. You attract real love because you embody it. You attract honor, not by demanding it, but by walking like someone who knows she's already worthy. And when you do this, you don't have to prove anything. You don't have to force. You don't have to compete. You don't even have to raise your voice. God defends you in rooms you've never walked into. God prepares hearts to favor you before you even speak. God goes before you because he chose you. That's why you don't chase. That's why you attract. Because when God is for you, the right people are drawn to your peace, your strength, your spirit. You don't have to be the loudest in the room, you just have to be aligned. Aligned with who you are, aligned with who he is. And that alignment, That's divine attraction. When you're the woman God defends, your setbacks aren't random, they're strategic. They are not signs that you've been abandoned. They are evidence that God is working in a way your eyes can't see yet. That pain you didn't see coming, that betrayal that felt like it tore you in two, that door that slammed in your face just when you thought breakthrough was near, none of it is wasted. Not a single tear, not a single disappointment, not a single no. All of it has been divinely arranged to shape you, protect you, and redirect you. You see, when God defends you, He doesn't always remove the storm. Sometimes He lets the storm reveal the strength He planted in you. He lets people walk away so you learn to walk with Him. He allows the disappointment so you can discover your true source of hope. And let me be clear, this doesn't mean what happened was fair. It doesn't mean it didn't hurt. But it means that what hurt you won't define you. What broke you won't bury you. It's going to build you. Sometimes the greatest defense God offers is the detour. You were on your way to a situation that looked good on paper, felt right in the moment, but would have destroyed you if you had stayed. So what does He do? He steps in and disrupts it. That job you didn't get, that relationship that ended, that opportunity that fell apart at the last minute, that wasn't rejection, that was rescue. And let's be honest, at first it doesn't feel like rescue. It feels like punishment. It feels like abandonment. It feels like failure. But in time, when you're far enough from the fire to see it clearly, you realize you were never being punished, you were being preserved. Your name was being protected. Your heart was being guarded. Your destiny was being sealed. Because when you are the woman God defends, He will not let you settle. He will not let you succeed in things that are beneath your calling. He will shut down what needs to be shut down to wake you up to your true worth. And I know it's not easy. I know it's hard to trust in the dark. But it's in the dark where the roots grow. It's in the silence where the clarity comes. It's in the low moments that the high calling gets revealed. You see, God doesn't waste broken seasons. He builds from them. And the more broken you felt, the more beautiful your rebuilding will be. That's why you can look back and say, if that had not fallen apart, I would have never found who I really was. You thought that breakup broke you? No, it freed you. You thought that failure ended you? No, it redirected you. Here's what you need to understand. Your setback isn't a stop sign, it's a spotlight. It's revealing what's unshakable inside of you. It's showing you what you're really made of. And when you look back in time, you'll realize it wasn't the blessing that made you who you are. It was the breaking. God's defense doesn't always look like a miracle in the sky. Sometimes it looks like isolation, like starting over, like losing what you thought you needed, only to discover what you truly carry. Sometimes the greatest act of love is a no. Sometimes the strongest shield is silence. Because He's not just interested in giving you what you want. He's committed to protecting what He placed inside you. So when it feels like everything is falling apart, remember this, it's not falling apart, it's falling into place. What was meant to destroy you is becoming the very foundation of your next season. You're not being left behind. You're being set up. And when you're the woman God defends, every loss is just a lesson preparing you for a legacy. When you're the woman God defends, you stop looking for validation in all the places that once left you empty. You no longer need someone else's applause to know you're enough. You no longer bend yourself just to be accepted in rooms that don't even recognize your worth. Something shifts inside of you, not because life gets easier, but because your identity becomes clearer. You stop chasing confidence like it's something external, and you start realizing it's already been planted in you. Let me tell you something that will set you free. True confidence doesn't come from compliments. It doesn't come from how many people notice you, praise you, or celebrate you. It comes from clarity. It comes from knowing who you are, what you carry, and who sent you. And when you know that, when you live from that truth, you become untouchable in a way that has nothing to do with ego and everything to do with purpose. You walk differently when you're not waiting for approval. You speak with authority when you're not worried about being liked. You say no with peace when you no longer fear being left out. That's what happens when you're defended by God. He starts stripping away the false identities you picked up just to survive. He removes the masks, the performance, the pressure, and he replaces it with something stronger, spiritual clarity. You begin to realize that the world's definition of success doesn't define your value, that what culture celebrates isn't necessarily what heaven honors. You don't need a title to lead. You don't need a platform to influence. You don't need a relationship to feel loved. You've been chosen, called, and equipped long before anyone recognized it. And that kind of realization, when it finally hits your spirit, liberates you from every toxic need for external validation. There's a confidence that only comes when you've been through the fire and didn't let it steal your voice. There's an authority that only develops when you've been overlooked, misunderstood, even betrayed, and still chose to rise with grace. You walk with your head high, not because everything has gone right, but because you've learned how to stand even when everything went wrong. And let me tell you, this kind of inner authority doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you anchored. You're not trying to prove your worth because your worth is not on trial. You're not trying to perform your way into love because you already are loved. You're not trying to earn your place at the table because you realize you are the table. When you are the woman God defends, people will come against you. That's not maybe, it's a certainty. In fact, sometimes the clearest evidence that God's hand is on your life is not the absence of opposition, but the increase of it. People will question you, mislabel you, talk about you, try to block you. Still you remain. Still standing. Still rising. Still walking with grace while fire is thrown at your name. You've got to understand something. The enemy does not waste time attacking people who aren't a threat. So when you feel surrounded, when it feels like everything and everyone is testing your patience, trying your faith, or trying to pull you out of character, it's not because you're weak. It's because you're carrying something powerful. You are carrying favor, purpose, a calling that disrupts darkness. And so, of course, the attacks will come. But here's the truth. The enemy hates you may be surrounded, but you are not shaken. Being the woman God defends doesn't mean you won't face pressure. It means the pressure won't destroy you. You're covered in ways you can't even explain. You've been protected from traps you didn't see, from gossip that never landed, from plans that were designed to break you but couldn't hold you. What people meant for harm, God turned it into fuel. What should have made you bitter made you better. What was designed to make you quit made you unbreakable. And here's the part people don't always talk about. When you walk with God's protection, your resilience confuses your enemies. It baffles them. They know what they did to you. They know how much they tried to sabotage your peace, your reputation, your progress. But you just kept showing up. You just kept loving. You kept growing. And you did it without clapping back, without lowering your standards, without losing your identity. That is not natural. That is supernatural. That is divine defense. You are still standing not because you avoided warfare, but because you learned to worship through it. You didn't run. You didn't shrink. You didn't allow the lies to define you. You stood, even when your knees were shaking, even when your heart was breaking. You stood in faith, in silence, in dignity, while God did what only He could do, fight for you in the unseen. Some of you are standing in victory right now, but the people around you have no idea what it took to be here. They see the glow, but they don't know the cost. They see the strength, but they don't know the struggle. And that's okay, because, you know the tears you cried behind closed doors. You know the moments you almost gave up. You know the prayers you whispered when no one else was listening. And you also know this, you didn't get here alone. You were carried through heartbreak, carried through betrayal, carried through seasons of silence and confusion, delay. And every time the enemy thought he had you, every time people thought you were finished, God stepped in and lifted you back up. So if you're in the fire right now, don't mistake it for failure. It's confirmation. The pressure you're feeling is a sign of the weight you carry. You are dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. You are light in places that desperately need it. And that's why the enemy's been trying to wear you down. But you're still standing. You want to know why? Because you're not standing on your own. You're standing on every promise God made to you. You're standing on purpose. You're standing on faith. You're standing on a foundation that doesn't crack when life does. You've been hit, but not held down. Wounded, but not wiped out. Surrounded, but not surrendered. That's how you know. You're the woman God defends. And no matter what comes, you will remain. When you are the woman God defends, your discernment becomes your weapon. You no longer move through life blindly, accepting every offer, trusting every smile, or walking into every opportunity with naive hope. No, something shifts. You begin to see. You start to recognize what's real and what's simply disguised as good. You begin to feel what others can't explain. You don't just look with your eyes, you listen with your spirit. That's not paranoia, that's protection. Discernment is the quiet, powerful voice inside you that says, don't go there. Don't trust that. Be still. Wait. And when God is defending you, He sharpens that voice. He increases your sensitivity so that you don't waste time walking into traps that look like blessings. He allows your spirit to feel uneasy, even when everything on the outside looks perfect. That's not fear. That's the Spirit of God shielding you from sabotage. And you've learned this the hard way, haven't you? You've trusted too quickly before. You believed people because they said the right things. You stepped into situations that felt good but drained you. You ignored the tension, the red flags, the silent warnings because you didn't want to seem too guarded. But now, you've learned to trust that gut feeling because you know it's not just gut, it's God. Discernment will keep you from fake friendships that want access, not connection. It will keep you from relationships that flatter you, but don't honor you. It will keep you out of business deals that look prosperous but would have poisoned your peace. When you're defended by God, He doesn't just protect you with angels, He protects you with awareness. You begin to sense things before they happen. You walk into a room and feel the atmosphere before anyone says a word. That's divine. You're no longer impressed by charisma. You look for character. You're no longer moved by promises. You look for patterns. You understand that not everyone who claps for you is clapping for you. Not everyone who calls you friend is loyal, and not every open door is God's will. That wisdom doesn't make you hard, it makes you holy. It makes you whole. See, the woman God defends has learned how to pause. She doesn't rush. She doesn't jump into every opportunity out of desperation. She knows that delay can be defense. She waits, not because she's unsure, but because she's unwilling to pay the price for moving without peace. And peace? That's her compass. When she has it, she moves. When she loses it, she stops. Sometimes that discernment will isolate you. It will keep you from saying yes when everyone else says go. It will make you walk away from things others would die for. It will make you appear stubborn, difficult, even cold. But you're not cold, you're called. And the woman who's called can't afford to be careless. She guards her spirit like a gate because she knows what she carries is too valuable to be contaminated. So when others question your boundaries,